Hello, world changers, and welcome to day 3 of Dance Your Destiny. Before I kick off with day 3's content, I want to remind you to please comment and share during the session, but also reflect on the days that have passed. So if you're busy working on your why and you want to share, or you are reflecting on a moment where you were authentic or where you were challenged to be authentic, please remember to share those as well. I know a lot of people end up reading them and commenting on them and also find their own strength and support through those comments. And remember, we're all here to support each other and grow. So please share those comments. And I love going through them, and I definitely will, even though this is a recording. So, day 3. In the word of dance, today is the N for being nimble. Now, to be nimble normally means to be flexible or have the ability to change quickly. I'm not saying that you have to change your whole direction or change who you are, because that would obviously counter what we've just learned in the previous 2 days. But you will learn some more about being nimble in the way of growing within yourself. But before I get there, let me share a quick riddle with you. If you want to pause this video now and quickly go and get a pen and paper, that would be a little bit helpful, because this is going to require a little bit of flexible or lateral thinking. Go and get it now. Okay, welcome back. So, it's a stormy day. You look out the window and there is dark clouds, or there are dark clouds that are hanging. In South Africa, we get very serious thunderstorms where the thunder is so loud that you can't hear anything else, and the water comes bucketing down. So I want you to have that in your mind. Then you look around and you realize, oh no, you have to go and get something from the shops. Whatever it is that you have to go and get, you have no choice. You have to go and get it now, just before the major thunderstorm hits. So you get into your car, which is one of those fancy race cars or sports cars that only have 2 seats. Obviously, you're driving, so you're sitting in the one seat. You drive on your way to the shops and you stop at a robot, and at that robot or traffic light, you see 3 people. The first is a frail old lady who looks like she's on her last legs and really would need a ride. Next to her is your best friend who once saved your life. And next to him or her is the love of your life, a person that you've always wanted to meet or always wanted to chat to, and this is a once in a lifetime opportunity. Now, it's a thunderstorm. You've got a car with only 2 seats, which means 1 seat is available. So here's the question. Who do you take? Pause the video now and jot that down. Once you've got an answer, you may press play and review. The answer you should have chosen, if you wanted to save everybody from the thunderstorm, was the old lady. What you do is you get out the car, hand the car keys to your best friend, allow the old lady to sit in the passenger seat, and you stand with the love of your life or the person who you really wanted to chat to. Everybody wins. That's lateral thinking. Now, with lateral thinking, you also have to think of moments where there have been successes and failures. And why were there failures? Was it an opportunity that was pushing you to be nimble and you weren't nimble enough? Or was it you being stubborn, like me often, where you were pushed to change and you didn't change? An example of this is the Kodak story. A gentleman by the name of Stephen Sasson, who worked for Kodak many years ago, was the first person to ever create a digital camera. He went to the heads of Kodak at the time and explained and showed them what he had designed. Yes, it was over 3 kilograms in weight and it was quite big, but it was a digital camera. Their reply to him, nope, we don't want it, we don't need it, film will never die. And now look today, Kodak is gone and the digital camera is everywhere. In that example, Kodak was not nimble, and because of it, they lost everything. In most of the sessions, I think in all the sessions, I've also dropped a quote in, and today's quote is this: when we change the way we look at things, the things we look at change. When we change the way we look at things, the things we look at change. And this is by Wayne Dyer. What I see linking this to being nimble is being able to see things from different perspectives and being able to react or change so that you can get a full view of what it is that you're looking at or looking for or looking towards, to make sure that you are applying it and going in the right direction. If you are meeting some resistance, is there a chance for you to be nimble and for you to reflect on that and maybe change your strategy? Another thing linked to being nimble is having the ability to take risks. Now, I'm not saying you need to go and jump off a building or do paragliding or skydiving, which, by the way, I have done. I've done skydiving. I'm not saying you have to do that. And I'm not saying walk up to the hottest girl on campus and chat to her. What I'm talking about is what is called small risks. Small risks are things that you can risk in terms of it makes you feel a little bit uncomfortable, but it's not going to be like life-changing or life-threatening. Those are small risks. Some examples are social, intellectual, or emotional risks. A social risk could be you going and speaking to someone who you've always wanted to speak to, but have always been nervous to do so. An intellectual risk could be signing up for that course that you've always thought, I don't know if I'll be able to handle it. It might be a little bit too challenging for me. Or an emotional risk could be going and sharing your feelings with a friend or a colleague or your boss. Now, again, this is not only romantic, but it could be, for example, putting yourself out there in terms of asking for a raise or putting something, maybe you've had a fight with someone and you need to speak to them, putting yourself in that risk scenario where you are slightly vulnerable and emotional is a type of small risk. With these small risks can come great rewards, because following from yesterday with authenticity, the more you challenge yourself and the more you get to know who you are, the stronger you become and the greater self-esteem and self-awareness you'll have. Another way to think of this and to push yourself forward in terms of being nimble towards your own goals or pursuits is to think of the power of yet. Now, I love the power of yet. And for those of you who do know about the power of yet, awesome. For those of you who don't know, I'm about to give you another wisdom bomb. So here we go. The power of yet. In this activity, so you can use your piece of paper as well if you want to, or you can just keep it in your mind. What I want you to think of is something you've always said you can't do. Now, I normally do this activity in person in workshops and stuff, but we'll try and make this work online like this. I want you to think of something you've said you always couldn't do and put it in a phrase or a sentence that says, I can't do this. For example, I can't do maths, or I can't swim. Pause the video now and think of that sentence. Okay, now that you've got that sentence in your mind, I want you to repeat it a few times, really let it sink in. I can't do that. Now, what I want you to do is reflect on how you actually felt and maybe jot some of those words down, either on the piece of paper or even better, in the chat that follows this post. Let me know how you felt when you said, I can't do this. I'm not going to give you any other words that go with it because I want to see what you feel. Now, what I want you to do is take that exact same sentence, I can't do, and whatever you chose. And now I want you to put the word yet at the end. I can't do maths yet. I can't swim yet. I can't do whatever yet. Again, I want you to think about it, say it a few times in your mind, or even better, out loud if you can, and really let it sink in. Pause the video now. Okay, now, again, reflect on how you felt after saying that phrase or sentence. Pop it in the chat or write it down on paper. How did it make you feel when you said, I can't do whatever it is yet? The difference here is when you say, I can't do something, you're saying, right now, I can't do it, but in future, I still won't be able to do it. When you say, I can't do something, you're putting a full stop at the end of that sentence. And that full stop creates a sense of certainty for your brain and for your self-esteem to say, today I can't do it, but I'll never be able to do it. Now, sometimes this is an easy out because, hey, I said I can't do it and I can't do it. But if you are really wanting to change and adapt and become better and become more nimble, when you say, I can't do whatever it was yet, that full stop becomes an ellipse of 3 dots. You're saying, I can't do whatever now, but with time, effort, and practice, along with the growth mindset, which I'm going to talk to you about tomorrow, you are going to be able to do it. You may not be able to do it now, but the possibility of you being able to do it in the future is definitely there. You are in control of whether you can or can't do that. Remember, tying back to the previous days, you've got to be driven, you've got to be purposeful, and you've got to be authentic. If you tie all of these in and then reflect on what it is you say you can't or can do, with the power of yet, you can do almost anything or change almost anything and become more nimble within the structure of what it is that you're trying to do. That is the power of yet. So the question really is, what's stopping you? Let's say you have a new phone and you need to use it, or there's a new program at work that you need to learn. Some sentences that come up quite often are something like, I can't do this. And that's an example of avoidance. Or, I'll never get this to work. I'll never understand this. That is actually fear speaking. If you say, I don't need to learn this, that's pride speaking, because your ego is being attacked because you don't think you can do it. And then quite a common one is, I can't do this now. I'm too tired or too stressed. I have too much else to do. I'll do it later. This is procrastination, and probably one of the most common ones used today because we live such busy lives. But did you know that procrastination is actually a form of self-preservation or a self-defense mechanism? By saying something like, I'm too stressed, or I can't do this now, I'll do it later. And then you might do it later, but only for a short period of time because you were rushed. It gives you an out to say something like, well, I didn't really fail because I only had 2 hours to learn it. Or, this is something that I did in a rush, or I did on the side. I didn't apply my entire mind, so it makes sense that I can't do it. Again, you've got to quickly say to yourself, those phrases that I've just mentioned, have you said any of those? And if yes, was it really you trying to avoid something because you were challenged? We all want to be seen as capable or competent and able. We don't want to appear weak or unskilled, but this is all part of growing and becoming a better you, is having the ability to accept that you are nimble, or accept that you don't know everything and that you will be able to after some time, effort, and practice. Now, your prep work. I want you to do something differently. I want you to maybe try and write with your left hand, or put your other shoe on first. Whatever it is, break a habit, break a pattern, and think differently. If you can record this with a video, please do so and post it on the group. Or if you can't record, then you can just take a picture and explain what it is that you did, because this is quite a fun activity where you challenge yourself, and the results are quite funny. So please share on the group. And this doesn't have to be something that you do like putting on your shoes or something like that. If you can think of anything else that would make you think differently or break you out of the common mold that you are in, please use that to think or do something different. Then there are other challenges that make you feel or think differently. And there is this one challenge called Say Yes for 30 days. And the Say Yes for 30 days challenge works like this. If you are a person that often finds a reason to say no, or you don't really like change because you've got your routine and you've got your comfort zones, and that's what suits you. If you want to break out of that rut, this challenge is for you. What you do is, if someone says to you, for example, let's go for a coffee. Now, you'd normally say no quite quickly. Now you say yes, or you try to say yes. Obviously, if you really can't make it, then you can't make it. But try and not just write it off. Say, I can't make it at that time. Could we do it at a later stage? Another thing is, in terms of the flexibility or the rules, is if it obviously doesn't align with your values or your why, obviously you don't need to do it. But if it does, and it's something that you may have wanted to do in the past, you know what? Go for it. Okay, today's dance step is the turn, because you need to be a little bit flexible or a little bit light on your feet for this one. So feel free to give the video a check out and try out the moves. If you can do it, cool. If you can't do this one, it's absolutely fine. But I hope you do give it a shot and have some fun. And once again, if you do end up doing it, please take a picture or a video of it and share it with the group. And that is my session. Thank you so much for joining me again. I look forward to reading all your comments in the chat, and have a great day further. I will see you tomorrow. Bye for now.